All right, the top news that we are tracking this hour. Election Commission officials have conducted searches on Rahul Gandhi's helicopter in Tamil Nadu's Nilgiris. Big update there and visuals coming in of Rahul Gandhi's chopper that's being searched as per mandate. In fact, the search took place as the helicopter just about landed, and while it was en route to his parliamentary constituency, Kerala's Wayanad, while he was just to take off on his journey to Wayanad in Nilgiris, the Election Commission searched Rahul Gandhi's chopper in and out, thoroughly searching. The visuals that's just surfaced there. In fact, he's currently on a campaign trail where he's all set to pull off a huge roadshow in Wayanad, which he calls his home constituency now. While Rahul Gandhi really looking confident of another win this time, and as he gets set to pull off a massive roadshow in Wayanad, just before that, moments before that, we see his helicopter being searched by the Election Commission officials. In fact, Shibi Mole is with us for more on that. Shibi, a quick word. This is, of course, a ritual. It's mandatory for Election Commission officials to carry out searches in choppers, in vehicles that netas usually ply around. Rahul Gandhi is no different. His special helicopter that he's roped in to take him around across campaign trails. While he was on his way to Wayanad, his chopper was stopped in Nilgiris and was searched. Give us more. Have they found anything? All right, we're going to try and patch Shibi Mole's audio there. While that said, let's take a close look at these visuals here. We're looking at the Election Commission officials there thoroughly checking Rahul Gandhi's chopper in and out. Though the visual does not show him, as soon as he's, in fact, while he was about to take off to Wayanad, as a mandatory protocol, the Election Commission officers have reached the spot where his helicopter was parked, and they've thoroughly checked his chopper in and out. For the moment, we're not certain if there was anything found in it, but this is the real duty of the Election Commission officials. I'm going to take you through further in the next story on the kind of money that the Election Commission officers have seized across India, right through the campaign trails, even before the first phase of elections. I'm going to take you through those figures, but for the moment, right now, Rahul Gandhi's chopper that was due to take off from Nilgiris land in Wayanad has been now searched thoroughly by the Election Commission officials. Poll officials there searching Rahul Gandhi's chopper in Tamil Nadu's Nilgiris. In fact, Rahul Gandhi himself has been hectically campaigning for several candidates of the Congress party. He's in Tamil Nadu, also an ally. The Congress is an ally of the DMK. At this point, while his chopper was parked in Nilgiris, his chopper was searched even before it took off to Wayanad. If we have Shilpa Nair joining us more on that. Shilpa, over to you. Rahul Gandhi's chopper has been searched. We believe this is as per protocols, but have they found anything inside that chopper?
Nabila, as far as this incident is concerned, we are, of course, getting a confirmation from the election officials in Nilgiris that, yes, Rahul Gandhi's chopper was indeed searched by the election officials. Now, this is part of the protocol. Ever since the MCC comes into effect, vehicle checks are done on a regular basis by the election officials. Even, cars of several candidates, several top leaders are checked, and helicopter checks are also undertaken by the election officials in order to check if these candidates or if these leaders are carrying any kind of money or other kind of inducements meant for the elections. When Rahul Gandhi, of course, landed in Nilgiris after he proceeded towards his location from the helipad, the election officials undertook a very rigorous check of his chopper, is what we're being told. However, no official statement has been released. We're given to understand that no major, seizure or anything of that sort has been made by the election officials, but his chopper was thoroughly searched, as is the routine. Rahul Gandhi, of course, he was interacting with tea plantation workers earlier this morning in Nilgiris district. Post that, he's gone to Wayanad, where he's contesting as the Congress candidate, and he's rigorously campaigning in Wayanad. And we've been seeing some of his speeches where he's talking about the local issues, the man-animal conflict in Wayanad, taking on the BJP in terms of several policy issues, taking on the BJP saying that this election is an ideological battle. So all of that being said by Rahul Gandhi during his campaign in Wayanad, he's there till tomorrow, so he'll be extensively campaigning across all the assembly segments that comes under the Wayanad parliamentary constituency. It's a big election for Rahul Gandhi. Remember, there was a lot of controversy as far as his candidature from Wayanad is concerned. The BJP, of course, says, look, this is how the India Alliance partners are fighting this election. They say they are together, but in Wayanad, Rahul Gandhi, one of the most prominent faces of the Congress party, is taking on an India Alliance partner. Left has fielded, CPI has fielded Annie Raja from that constituency. So there's a lot of criticism against Rahul Gandhi's candidature from Wayanad this time around. And there's also...
Well, just before he sets off to Wayanad, we believe that the Election Commission officials have searched his helicopter as per protocols. We showed you those visuals. Shilpa Nair, thanks very much for joining us. But why this is very significant at the moment here, we're going to take you through the Election Commission of India announcing that they've made the biggest seizure in history, Lok Sabha history. Let's take you through this big news. All right, the Election Commission of India has made the highest ever seizures of inducements recorded ever in Lok Sabha's history. On an average, that brings it to 100 crores seized almost every single day since the 1st of March. Collectively, nearly 4,650 crores has been seized by the polling officials even before the 2019 polls have begun. Now, we hear Election Commission officials say that a large chunk of this seizure includes drugs and narcotics. Apart from that, cash that they've managed to seize from different parts of the country even before Lok Sabha elections have begun. This is a sharp increase from nearly 3,000 odd crores that was seized during 2019 Lok Sabha elections. So the first time in India's independent history, 4,650 crores has been seized by the polling officials across the length and breadth of India right from the 1st of March, ever since they got on to duty to try and track down if there was any illegitimate campaigning that was underway where freebies were given out, cash was given out, any kind of exchanges and inducements. That the Election Commission has cracked down and has finally accumulated inducements worth 4,650 crores. Really the largest in Lok Sabha history. Let me quickly cut across to Aishwarya joining us for more on that on the phone line with us. Aishwarya, give us more on the biggest ever seizure in Lok Sabha history. Election Commission officials say it's a sharp rise, nearly 2,000 odd crores, or rather 1,500 crores increase from 2019 to now.
Well, let me tell you, one of the most startling images, data that has now come out, Nabila, is the fact that the Election Commission has cracked down on money power. Close to 100 crore rupee seizure is being done every day since the 1st of March. Now, this actually is almost 4,500 crore rupees seized, even more than what the polling has begun. The Election Commission, let me tell you, has made sure that there are officers who have been put in each and every state. The borders are now being strictly monitored, and also the use of artificial intelligence, Nabila, is now being done to make sure that there is a heavy crackdown. If we speak about certain border states, that's exactly what the Election Commission and Election Commissioner Rajiv Kumar had also said when he had met the people of the state, that we'll be extremely strict, we'll be extremely vigilant, and that's the reason since the 1st of May, every day, Nabila, 100 crore rupees is being seized by the Election Commission of India.
That's a massive amount, considering that we're looking at political parties claiming that they have no money, many of them saying that there's not enough money at this point to carry out their campaigns. Of course, we still are unaware as to who this cash and these inducements really belong to and at whose behest it was supplied. Investigation will be carried out to find that out. But for the moment, we're looking at nearly 4,650 crores. That's roughly about 100 crores every single day since the 1st of March that the Election Commission has cracked down on. Now, with Lok Sabha polls just days away, all the top leaders are currently in full campaign mode. In fact, the BJP, of course, is leaving no stone unturned to make headways in the southern parts of India. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is currently in Kerala. He addressed a public rally in Palakkad, where he spoke extensively of the BJP's commitments to the country and, of course, took this opportunity to slam the Congress's Rahul Gandhi, saying that he ran away from Amethi, his family's home seat it was, to come to Wayanad and contest, while saying that Rahul Gandhi is running away from an actual fight and also slamming the left party, the CPIM, of trying to loot the people of Kerala through several banks that they control in the state. Meanwhile, Rahul Gandhi, on the other hand, has planned a massive roadshow in Wayanad. This is, of course, a show of strength for him in Wayanad, as he's already won the 2019 elections from there. It's known as a safe seat for Rahul Gandhi, as we believe, as per statistics there, Wayanad itself has a large population of minorities. So the BJP has largely accused Rahul Gandhi of trying to hide in a safe seat and running away from the actual fight in Amethi against Smriti Irani. You're seeing Prime Minister Modi and Rahul Gandhi clashing in the southern part of Kerala. We're looking at Rahul Gandhi in the meanwhile attacking the BJP as he moves through parts of Kerala. He's going to start off his campaign in Wayanad, but he's already at various platforms slammed the BJP, saying the BJP cannot tolerate and bear other people's beliefs and ideology, whereas the Congress really respects all choices. Listen in.
ये लोग नेशनल हाईवेज के प्रोजेक्ट भी रोकना चाहते हैं, क्योंकि लेफ्ट सरकारों का एक ही कैरेक्टर है। लेफ्ट वालों का कैरेक्टर क्या है? नथिंग लेफ्ट एंड नथिंग राइट, यानी जहां लेफ्ट का शासन होता है वहां कुछ भी बाकी नहीं रहता और कुछ भी सही नहीं होता। साथियों, केरला में जनता के पैसों की खुलेआम लूट हो रही है। ये लोग भ्रष्टाचार के नए नए मॉडल लेकर आते हैं, जनता का एवरी सिंगल रुपया लूटना चाहते हैं। कुरुवन्नूर कोऑपरेटिव बैंक स्कैम लेफ्ट की लूट का एक ऐसा उदाहरण है। हर कोई जिससे परेशान है। यहां सीपीएम के मुख्यमंत्री 3 साल से लगातार झूठ बोल रहे हैं कि इस कोऑपरेटिव स्कैम के पीड़ितों को उनका पैसा वापस मिलेगा। ये भी झूठ बोलते हैं कि दोषियों पर कार्रवाई होगी। ये आपका सेवक मोदी है जिसने इस केस की जांच करवाई। अब तक स्कैम करने वालों की करीब 90 करोड़ रुपए की संपत्ति भारत सरकार के ईडी ने अटैच कर ली है।
The BJP people, the Prime Minister, they say one nation, one people, one language, one leader. This is a fundamental misunderstanding of our country, because language is not something that is imposed from the top. Language is something that comes out from inside the person, inside the heart of the person. And that is the main difference between us and them. We want to listen to what is in the heart of our people. We want to love and respect their beliefs, their language, their religion, their culture, and they want to impose something from the top.
All right, as Prime Minister Modi is currently in Kerala, he pulls off this unsparing attack on Rahul Gandhi while in Kerala's soil. Modi says big Congress leader gave away the family seat in Uttar Pradesh. Prime Minister Modi's Crown Prince attack, the jibe he takes at Rahul Gandhi, saying the Congress's Crown Prince has shifted base to Kerala. Congress made backdoor agreement with banned PFI. Big words coming in from the Prime Minister, as I did mention. Scathing attack while the Prime Minister was in Palakkad. He took jibe after jibe at the Congress's Rahul Gandhi in particular, who's standing from Wayanad, a seat that Rahul Gandhi contested in 2019, wants to repeat his candidature this time as well in 2024. The Prime Minister taking direct pot shots at Rahul Gandhi, saying the same Rahul Gandhi who's contesting Wayanad, Kerala, has run away from his family's home seat of Amethi. He calls Rahul Gandhi as Crown Prince, saying that this is the Congress party's mindset, making a backdoor arrangement and agreement with the banned PFI outfit's political wing, the SDPI. Here's what he said.
केरला के लोगों को एलडीएफ, यूडीएफ दोनों से सावधान रहना है। केरला में भले ही कांग्रेस पार्टी लेफ्ट के लोगों को आतंकवादी कहती है, लेकिन दिल्ली में ये लोग एक साथ बैठकर चुनावी गठजोड़ करते हैं, एक ही थाली में खाते हैं। यहां केरला से बाहर निकलते ही पड़ोस में तमिलनाडु में ही दोनों पार्टियां एक साथ मिलकर चुनाव लड़ रही है। यहां भाषण देते हैं कि आतंकवादी है और वहां मिलकर के चुनाव लड़ते हैं। और जो लेफ्ट वाले लोग कांग्रेस पर परिवारवाद के आरोप लगाते थे, अब वो खुद उनसे परिवारवाद के फायदे क्या है इसके टिप्स ले रहे हैं।
All right, let me cut across to KG Alphonse, a BJP Neta, joining us on the phone line for more on that on Prime Minister Modi's attack against Rahul Gandhi. Mr. Alphonse, here you have Rahul Gandhi standing from Wayanad. It's evident that he's, at least so far, the candidature of Rahul Gandhi from Amethi has not been announced. That's left in suspense now. Modi evoking just that at a stage in Palakkad while speaking to the people of Kerala, saying that Rahul Gandhi has run away from his home seat, Amethi, to contest from Wayanad. How would you look at this statement?
Yeah, I mean, so evident that Rahul Gandhi has run away from North India and to take a refuge in the hills of Wayanad for the simple reason that this is the only place which has got a massive concentration of Muslims. And the Muslims obviously back him. In fact, last time when he went to file the nomination paper, there was only green flags to be seen. And of course, this time what they did was there were no flags, not even Congress flags. So he's run away, and his performance in the parliament is, I've spoken about it many times. In 19 years, what has he done? And all that they do, as the Honorable Prime Minister says, when the election comes, you are killing each other, the Communists and Congress are killing each other, fighting each other, abusing each other, but just cause the Palakkad gap, get outside Kerala and they are embracing each other, they have an alliance. I mean, you're making a fool of people, of the electorate. And both these people are closely linked with the extremist elements in Kerala. I mean, so evident. The Congress party doesn't dare to say a word. Even somebody like Shashi Tharoor, originally he spoke against Hamas. In a few minutes, he had to go back on his word and say, sorry, I didn't mean it. And the Chief Minister of Kerala, I mean, he doesn't say a word against the extremist elements, the Popular Front, Singh, they don't. And in fact, the entire Kerala is in the clutches of these extremist elements, and I don't know where we are going. And I think this is exactly what the Prime Minister said.
Mr. Alphonse, he spoke specifically of the SDPI's support to the Congress party, saying that this is the same SDPI that is a political wing of the banned outfit, the PFI. SDPI has refused to have any association with the PFI, and they are not banned. If the BJP believes that it has anti-national sentiments, why shouldn't the SDPI also be banned?
Yeah, see, it's the same front. I mean, we banned the Popular Front because they have such a tradition of being extremely violent. And once they were banned, it emerged as a political outfit. The SDPI, I mean, everybody in Kerala knows that the Popular Front and the SDPI, they are all the same thing. And they are the strongest support base for Rahul Gandhi. So you know what they stand for, what he stands for. I mean, it's an ultimate shame. He runs away from North India, takes refuge in Wayanad, and he gets elected. I mean, with the support of such extremist elephant. It's a shame. It's a shame on his party. It's a shame on him.
All right. Thanks very much, Mr. KG Alphonse. Remember, Rahul Gandhi is contesting Wayanad, and the allegation is that Wayanad is a constituency with a large chunk of minority population. So for him, it's a safe seat, the BJP accusing him of running away from his home seat of Amethi. All right, I'm going to cut across yet again what Prime Minister Modi said, directly slamming the crown prince of the Congress as he quotes, I'm quoting Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself, calling Rahul Gandhi the crown prince, saying that he has associated with SDPI, which is a banned outfit of the PFI. This is the Congress party's mindset.
केरला के लोगों को एलडीएफ, यूडीएफ दोनों से सावधान रहना है। केरला में भले ही कांग्रेस पार्टी लेफ्ट के लोगों को आतंकवादी कहती है, लेकिन दिल्ली में ये लोग एक साथ बैठकर चुनावी गठजोड़ करते हैं, एक ही थाली में खाते हैं। यहां केरला से बाहर निकलते ही पड़ोस में तमिलनाडु में ही दोनों पार्टियां एक साथ मिलकर चुनाव लड़ रही है। यहां भाषण देते हैं कि आतंकवादी है और वहां मिलकर के चुनाव लड़ते हैं। और जो लेफ्ट वाले लोग कांग्रेस पर परिवारवाद के आरोप लगाते थे, अब वो खुद उनसे परिवारवाद के फायदे क्या है इसके टिप्स ले रहे हैं। कांग्रेस के इन नेताओं के मुंह से कभी भी कोऑपरेटिव बैंक के स्कैम के लिए कैसे पैसे लूटे हैं एक शब्द बोलते हैं क्या? कांग्रेस के ये युवराज केरला के लोगों से वोट तो मांगेंगे, लेकिन आपके हक में, आपके मुद्दों पर एक शब्द भी नहीं बोलेंगे।
All right, Prime Minister Narendra Modi slamming the Congress while addressing a rally in Karnataka's Mysuru just yesterday. He's raked up various issues ranging all the way from water shortage crisis that the Karnataka IT capital, particularly Bengaluru, is facing, to the Congress netas seeking permission of the Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge to chant Bharat Mata Ki Jai along with the crowds there. The Prime Minister went all guns blazing at the Congress over water crisis. He's alleging that the Congress is busy sending hundreds of crores of rupees black money from Karnataka to other parts of the country and really ignoring the actual situation on the ground while people are reeling under scarcity of water. Meanwhile, the Prime Minister has hit out at the Congress Minister Lakshman Sawadi, saying that he was forced to take permission from the Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge only to chant Bharat Mata Ki Jai. That just shows what the Congress really stands for. Meanwhile, the Congress's Bengaluru rural candidate, D.K. Suresh, has hit out at the Prime Minister, saying and also reminding the Prime Minister over being silent on electoral bonds. He said, particularly on the water crisis, that Karnataka and the people of Karnataka, particularly Bengaluru, will get water, and that's a guarantee that the Congress is giving. The situation, the crisis particularly, will be resolved in the next 6 months.
देश का आईटी हब बेंगलुरु पानी के घनघोर संकट से जूझ रहा है। इन सब के बीच कांग्रेस पार्टी को चुनाव लड़वाने के लिए हंड्रेड्स ऑफ करोड़ रुपीस ब्लैक मनी कर्नाटका से देश भर में भेजा जा रहा है। कांग्रेस पार्टी आज टुकड़े टुकड़े गैंग की सुल्तान बनकर घूम रही है। देश को बांटने, तोड़ने और कमजोर करने के कांग्रेस पार्टी के खतरनाक इरादे आज भी वैसे ही है। कांग्रेस की चुनावी रैली में एक व्यक्ति ने भारत माता की जय के नारे लगवाए। इसके लिए उसे मंच पर बैठे नेताओं से परमिशन लेनी पड़ी। क्या भारत माता की जय बोलने के लिए परमिशन लेनी पड़े? क्या ऐसी कांग्रेस को देश माफ करेगा?
ನಾನು ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಖರ್ಗೆ ಸಾಹೇಬರು ಅಪಾರ್ಥ ಮಾಡ್ಕೋಬಾರ್ದು. ಒಂದು ಮಾತನ್ನ ಹೇಳಿಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಬಯಸ್ತೀನಿ. ನೀವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದಾಗೆ ಒಂದು ಮಾತನ್ನ ಹೇಳಿ, ನಾನು ಭಲೋ ಭಾರತ್ ಮಾತಾಕಿ ಅಂತೀನಿ. ನೀವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಗಟ್ಟಿ ಮುಷ್ಟಿಯನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿ.
All right, Arvind Kejriwal's case before Delhi's Rouse Avenue Court. Big news coming in. His judicial custody has now been extended until the 23rd of April. Kejriwal's lawyer has told court that he has lost weight and some application has been filed in that regard as well, saying that he is not in his best of health. This is the latest update that we have on Arvind Kejriwal's judicial custody. Unfortunately for him, there's no relief. Even his judicial custody at the moment has been extended until April 23rd. Arvind Kejriwal's case that's currently before the Rouse Avenue Court in Delhi, his judicial custody, which ideally ended today, has now been extended until the 23rd of April. His lawyers have also submitted in court that Arvind Kejriwal has lost some weight, suggesting he's not in the best of his health, and an application with this regard has also been filed. Let me cut across to Shrishti Oja tracking those developments. Shrishti, Arvind Kejriwal, really a disappointment here yet again with the Rouse Avenue Court in Delhi not granting him relief. His judicial custody now stands extended until the 23rd of April. Today was the last day of his judicial custody, and we believe while in court his lawyers have submitted that he's not in the best of his health. His weight, he's lost some weight, but as per what India Today reports suggest, just last week the Har Jail officials released a document where Arvind Kejriwal's weight remained the same from the day he was admitted in jail to today. Give us more.
Well, yes, Nabila, as we know, Arvind Kejriwal has been behind bars. He was sent to judicial custody till the 15th of April. As his judicial custody period ended today, he was to be produced before Delhi's Rouse Avenue Court. Instead of physical production, he was produced before the special CBI judge virtually through video conferencing today. In the hearing that took place, CBI sought an extension of judicial custody of Arvind Kejriwal. The court, however, has extended his custody only till 23rd April, noting that the custody of another co-accused in this case, the court was referring to BRS leader K. Kavita, another co-accused in the case is also extended till 23rd April. So considering that, Mr. Arvind Kejriwal's judicial custody has also been extended till that date. During the hearing, when a response was sought from Mr. Kejriwal's lawyer, his lawyer said that while he cannot oppose the judicial custody request that has been made by the CBI, by the Enforcement Directorate, my apologies, they have filed some application and an oral submission was made by his lawyer that Mr. Kejriwal has lost some weight, and with that regard, I think they have filed an application. However, since the application was not on record before the court could not hear the application. So exactly what is being sought by Mr. Kejriwal through that application is something that we'll know once the court takes up the matter, which is likely to happen sometime today itself. But yes, definitely a claim that has been made by his lawyers that he has lost weight while in judicial custody, and they also made a submission on the lines of how due to the weight loss his clothes are not fitting him properly. So what is it exactly that his lawyers are seeking through this application is something that we'll know shortly once the court decides to take up that application, and also to see whether or not the court grants any relief in that regard. Back to you.
All right, thanks very much, Shrishi, for joining us, where we see Arvind Kejriwal, yet another setback as the Delhi's Rouse Avenue Court has extended his judicial custody until the 23rd of April, while at the same time, Kejriwal's lawyers saying that he's not fit. In jail, he's lost some weight, and an application with this regard has also been filed. That will be heard soon. All right, meanwhile, we're looking at an NOC for votes row hitting the state of Karnataka's Congress. HD Kumaraswamy hits out at DK Shivkumar over NOC for votes. Kumaraswamy says, DK Shivkumar said, vote for my brother and get an NOC. Well, this is a big submission made by HD Kumaraswamy of the JDS, who's now in an alliance with the BJP. He says, NOC for votes appeal in housing complex. HD Kumaraswamy says, Deputy Chief Minister of Karnataka, Congress's heavyweight DK Shiv Kumar has told voters, you vote for my brother in Bengaluru rural and you will get an NOC. Kumaraswamy, former Chief Minister and candidate from Mandya Lok Sabha, he hits out at DK Shiv Kumar over his speech in an apartment complex. He says, I saw a clip in the news where DK Shiv Kumar goes to an apartment complex and gives a speech saying, you have 1,500 votes here. If you want an NOC to be issued for this building, you have to vote for my brother DK Suresh from Bengaluru rural. Then come to me later with issues of NOC. We'll give water only after you cast your vote to my brother. You're doing politics, giving threats to voters. These are words of HD Kumaraswamy saying DK Shiv Kumar is basically holding the people at ransom, saying you will not get an NOC or your water crisis will not be resolved if you do not vote for my brother DK Suresh in Bengaluru rural. Let's have a listen what he says.
ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಅಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ಗೆ NOC ಕೊಡಬೇಕಲ್ಲ, ಭಾಷಣ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ರೋಗಿಯಲ್ಲಿ. ನೀವೇನಿದ್ದೀರಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ 1,500 2,000 ಜನ, ನಿಮ್ಗೆ NOC ಇಶ್ಯೂ ಆಗಬೇಕು ಅಂದರೆ ನನ್ನ ತಮ್ಮನಿಗೆ ಮತ ಹಾಕಿ ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬನ್ನಿ ನನ್ನ ಹತ್ರ, ಆಮೇಲೆ NOC ಕೊಡಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. ನನ್ನ ತಮ್ಮನಿಗೆ ಮತ ಕೊಟ್ಟ ಮೇಲೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ನೀರು ಕೊಡ್ತೀನಿ. ಈ ಧಮಕಿ ಹಾಕೊಂಡು ರಾಜಕಾರಣ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ನೀವು ನನಗೆ ಬುದ್ಧಿ ಹೇಳೋ ಮಟ್ಟಕ್ಕಿದ್ದೀರಾ ನೀವು? ಅಳಬೇಡಪ್ಪ, ಪಾಪ ನಿಂಗೆ ದುಃಖ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ನಾನೇ ವಿಷಾದ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಪಡಿಸ್ತೀನಿ. ಆನಂದವಾಗಿರಪ್ಪ, ಆನಂದವಾಗಿರಿ. ಇದನ್ನು ಇಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಓಹೋ ಏನೋ ಕುಮಾರಸ್ವಾಮಿ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದ ಮಹಾನ್ ಅಪರಾಧ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟೆ ಹೇಳಿಕೆ ಕೊಟ್ಟಂತೆ.
All right, let me cut across to Sagai Raj, India Today's correspondent, tracking those developments from Bengaluru. Sagai, which area and which apartment complex is this, where DK Shiv Kumar allegedly went to the apartment residence and said, if you want an NOC and a clearance, if you want water to be supplied to your locality, then you vote for my brother. If this is true, then this is nothing but a threat.
See, this particular video has emerged allegedly from Rajarajeshwari Nagar, where he has reportedly spoken to the residents of one particular apartment which has newly come up in that particular area, where he says that if you require no objection certificate or occupancy certificate of that particular apartment in Rajarajeshwari Nagar, you should go ahead and vote for his brother. And he has allegedly also said that if you don't get to vote for his brother, then you will not get NOC as well as the water supply connection, that is BWSSB, because whenever you get an NOC, that's when you get a BWSSB connection, and you also get the other Kata and other stuff of that particular apartment. So HD Kumaraswamy has criticized, saying that one particular video has gone viral on media, and he says that that is the kind of the mindset of Congress, where they are threatening the people and seeking the votes. If they don't vote for his brother, probably the residents of that particular apartment will not get no objection certificate.
This matter should be taken up legally if at all this is true. Sagai, a quick word, has there been any formal complaint being filed with this regard?
So far, the BJP has not escalated the issue. Probably they might take up and probably file a complaint with the Election Commission on the same.
Right. Sagai, thanks very much for joining us. Now, after Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Jagan Mohan Reddy was attacked, TDP has now made another big claim. TDP says that stones were pelted on TDP chief Chandrababu Naidu in Gajuwaka. In fact, following this, the YSRCP has condemned the attack. While writing on the X platform, YSRCP has requested a probe in the matter and requested Election Commission of India to intervene and hold an inquiry into this. Remember, a little earlier, this basically follows on the heels of the Chief Minister of Andhra Pradesh, Jagan Mohan Reddy himself, being pelted at while he was en route in Vijayawada campaigning and waving at the crowds. Those are the visuals you see on your screens there. While Jagan Mohan Reddy was hit with a stone and he hurt his left eye. In fact, after he suffered that small cut on the left side of his temple, the eyebrow, he was given first aid. He carried on with his journey And he, at that point, his supporters had also alleged that it was the TDP cadre and supporters who had attacked the YSRCP chief. Now, following this incident, Chandrababu Naidu had also condemned it, saying a proper thorough probe should be initiated. TDP chief demanding punishment to those who are behind the attack.
నిన్న కరెంట్ ఆఫ్ చేసిన వాళ్ళ పైన ముఖ్యమంత్రి పైన గులకరాయి వేసిన వాళ్ళ పైన ఎందుకు యాక్షన్ తీసుకోలేదు? ఎవడేశాడు ఇది చెప్పాలి కదా మీరు. 24 గంటలైంది. డిపార్ట్మెంట్ ఏం చేశారని అడుగుతున్నా. ఎక్కడున్నారని అడుగుతున్నా. సిఎస్ కు బాధ్యత లేదా? డీజీపీకి బాధ్యత లేదా? ఇంటెలిజెన్స్ కు బాధ్యత లేదా? నా మీద దాడి చేపిస్తూ పైశాచిక ఆనందాన్ని పొందుతారా?
All right, now since 1991, a quick look at the Dakshin Kannada constituency, which has been the stronghold of the BJP as they strive to retain hold over that coastal region. The Congress energizes its campaign there by their, in fact, a renewed vigor that's seen in the Congress's campaign, and their government in the state looking forward to regaining lost ground in Dakshina Kannada. I'm going to quickly cut across to Sagai Raj's report there, our correspondent, bringing us this ground reality from Dakshin Kannada, Karnataka.
Dakshin Kannada Lok Sabha constituency is the only constituency which has marine, rail, road and air connectivity. But still, development is at stake. BJP is all set to retain 9th consecutive time by fielding an ex-serviceman, whereas Congress is fighting to regain the lost glory 33 years back by fielding a Billava community candidate which has the highest vote bank in Dakshin Kannada.
The Mangaluru constituency, now known as Dakshina Kannada, was reshaped in 2009. It lost the Kodagu district to the Mysuru Lok Sabha constituency when the electoral map was redrawn. Since then, the political landscape has evolved significantly. Originally, the BJP struggled here, losing elections in 1984 and 1989. BJP went on to win the seat in 1991 and has held on to it ever since. In the 2024 Lok Sabha elections, fearing possible anti-incumbency with its three-time MP Nalin Kumar Katil, the BJP has opted for a new candidate, Captain Brijesh Chota.
I've been going around the constituency trying to meet our Karyakartas because Dakshina Kannada Lok Sabha constituency is an organizational district. It's a district where the party is built based on the Karyakartas, based on the ideology of the Bharatiya Janata Party.
The 42-year-old former army captain in his first poll battle faces 53-year-old Padmaraj R. Pujari, a lawyer and a Congress candidate.
I was a advocate by profession, and I was working as a trustee and treasurer of the Gokarnatheshwar temple. So I know the people of this undivided district. During the last assembly elections, Congress party in its manifesto has gave 5 guarantees. It is I'm proudly saying that we have implemented all these guarantees within few months. Definitely they will, this time they will bless the Congress party.
The upcoming election is crucial as the residents look for leadership that prioritizes their needs and safety.
We've also got a young candidate now, a dynamic candidate who's educated as well as who's been with the people and who's an ex-soldier. So we expect a lot of developmental programs with regards to the youth, whether it's the IT that comes into Dakshina Kannada or job opportunities that will be created here.
I feel that the past MPs have failed to get the IT sector in Mangalore, and basically we have lots and lots of water, beaches, and lots of tourism activities which is not being developed.
There are new hopes among the people of Dakshin Kannada regarding the development. Will the elected representative of Coastal Belt will walk the talk to create new waves, while the voters are afraid that another term of politics with polarization will continue to tide over the future. With the Shivamurthy Sagairaj reporting for India Today, Mangaluru.
All right, let's cut to Mamata Banerjee in West Bengal. As she heats up the political campaign for the TMC in the state, she takes on the BJP, taking a jibe over Gobar and Gaumutra. In fact, Mamata Banerjee also evoking the fish eating controversy during Navratri. She says the BJP is tracking all your food habits. They are going to end democracy very soon and they're going to kill your food habits. Mamata Banerjee says BJP wants one nation and one food. This is Mamata Banerjee's words as she speaks during a campaign trail, slamming the BJP of commenting on people's food choices and evoking the controversy around fish eating during Navratri. Mamata Banerjee says the BJP will continue tracking all your food habits and will eventually end democracy and kill food habits. Eventually, BJP will want one nation and one food. Have a listen.
আপনি কি খাবেন লিখে দেবে সকালবেলায় চা খাও চায়ের সাথে গোমূত্র খাও আপনি কি খাবেন লিখে দেবে দুপুরবেলায় কি খাবে গোবরের সাথে কিছু মিশিয়ে খাও সন্ধ্যাবেলায় আপনি কি খাবেন সেটাও ওরা ঠিক করে দেবে রাত্রিবেলায় আপনি ক ঘন্টা ঘুমোবেন সেটাও ওরা ঠিক করে দেবে
All right, I'm going to cut across to Ritik Mondal joining us for more on that. Ritik, go on. We're looking at Mamata Banerjee slamming the BJP during one of her speeches at a public stage, says BJP wants one nation, one food. They're going to soon end democracy even with what you eat. Give us more the context with which she's spoken.
Definitely, amidst the row over the food habits across the India, and when the ruling party Bharatiya Janata Party and opposition members, be it Congress or Samajwadi Party, engage in itself in a war of words. It's a big statement and a huge attack from Mamata Banerjee, who is the Chief Minister of Bengal. She is currently addressing political campaign in North Bengal, one in Cooch Behar, another in Alipurduar. While addressing this public meeting in Cooch Behar, she attacked Bharatiya Janata Party over this over the row. And as we know, time and again, Trinamool Congress has categorically stated when the issues comes over the food habits, TMC attacked Bharatiya Janata Party, out and out. So this is a big statement that is coming from Mamata Banerjee, attacking that BJP actually wants one nation, one food habit, and which her party and the Bengal will not agree with. So it's a big statement just ahead of Lok Sabha election. Remember, Mamata Banerjee is touring North Bengal. This 3 Lok Sabha seats of North Bengal are going to poll on the first phase of elections on 19th of April, and this is a high voltage, election battlefield are being prepared when Bharatiya Janata Party is eyeing to gain much seats from Bengal, and TMC is also trying to make a way in northern part of Bengal, and this time Mamata Banerjee's big statement over this controversy is giving more arms and ammunitions hands of opposition.
Absolutely. In fact, Ritik, do stay with us. I'm going to for the reference for context here, I'm going to take you through what Prime Minister Modi had said while speaking precisely about non-veg eating during the Navratri season, slamming the India Alliance members. Let's have a quick listen what Prime Minister Modi had said earlier.
लोगों की भावनाओं से खिलवाड़ करने में मजा आता है। ये लोग सावन में एक सजायाफ्ता जो सजा कोर्ट ने जिसको सजा की है, जो जमानत पर है, ऐसे एक मुजरिम के घर जाके सावन के महीने में मटन बनाने का मौज ले रहे हैं। इतना ही नहीं, उसका वीडियो बना करके देश के लोगों को चिढ़ाने का काम करते हैं। कानून किसी को भी कुछ भी खाने से नहीं रोकता है और न ही मोदी रोकता है। सभी को स्वतंत्रता है कि जब मन करे वेज खाए या नॉन वेज खाए, लेकिन इन लोगों की मंशा दूसरी होती है। जब सब मुगल यहां आक्रमण करते थे ना, तो उनको सत्ता राजा को पराजित करने से संतोष नहीं होता था। जब तक मंदिर तोड़ते नहीं थे, जब तक श्रद्धा स्थानों की कत्ल नहीं करते थे, उनको संतोष नहीं होता था। उनको उसी में मजा आता था। वैसे ही सावन के महीने में वीडियो दिखाकर वो मुगल के लोगों के जमाने की जो मानसिकता है ना, उसके द्वारा वो देश के लोगों को चिढ़ाना चाहते हैं और अपनी वोट बैंक पक्की करना चाहते हैं।
All right, now intensifying her attack on the BJP, Mamata Banerjee slams the poll panel over top cop of West Bengal being shunted out ahead of Lok Sabha elections. Mamata Banerjee seeing red. The poll panel shifted DIG of Murshidabad over violence there. Mamata Banerjee speaking on the same, saying the poll panel is really dancing to the tunes of the BJP. Mamata says West Bengal officials being selectively removed. Remember, this comes right after IPS officer earlier, Rajiv Kumar, one of her trusted officers, was moved out right ahead of Lok Sabha elections. In fact, this is the poll panel's decision to carry out changes in multiple states, West Bengal no different. And now we see the DIG of Murshidabad has been shifted out. The poll panel makes a decision right ahead of polls. Mamata Banerjee there slamming this move, saying that the poll panel is now acting to the tunes entirely of the BJP, that they are selectively being removed to target the opposition.